Achieving UFC status is no small feat.
Oh, big left from Poirier, now a right hand. Oh, he's hurt.
It requires an athlete to go through a lifelong journey of constant battles, maintaining a mental fortitude that is second to none. That's why any mixed martial arts fighter would pounce at the opportunity of one day joining the largest MMA league in the world. But imagine getting an offer from the UFC not once, but twice, and turning it down on both occasions. Sounds like a move only a drunkard out of a bar would make. But this is what the up-and-coming superstar of the sport, Paddy Pimblett, did, and it might be the smartest decision of his entire career. Before becoming one of the fastest growing stars, sleeping notable legends like Bobby Green and recently Michael Chandler, Paddy made a bold decision fighters across the world could only dream of. He said no to the biggest fighting organization in the world, and the reason isn't what you would expect. This is the untold story of why Paddy walked from the UFC, how it almost costed him everything, and how this decision ultimately turned him into a coveted star in the UFC's most skilled division. Patrick Mark Pimblett was born on January 3rd, 1995 in Liverpool, England. He grew up in a place where you needed to be tough just to survive. Liverpool is a place well known for its culture, music, and its football, but also a place where struggle and high crime rates were a part of everyday life. And Paddy grew no stranger to such struggle, but what those around him noticed was a kid with a tough fighting spirit, the kind that can't be taught. At the age of 15, everything changed for the boy. He enrolled in the Next Generation MMA martial arts school where he claims saved him as a kid. Paddy found a second home, and it was fighting that gave Paddy discipline, focus, and a reason to stay off the streets from a young age. Although Paddy wasn't the strongest, the fastest, or the most gifted amongst the other boys his age, what he did have was resilience and determination. He refused to quit. But one day, Paddy turned the TV on and saw a UFC fighter BJ Penn in the octagon. And ever since, young Paddy knew that something larger awaited for him. Paddy made his amateur debut in 2012 at the age of 17, and he would soon sign to Cage Warriors a year later after displaying his immense fighting talents.
Have the full extension to drive it, and there's the flying triangle! He's got the extension! Looks like he might be finding some space at the top!
Times during this fight. He's got the choke in. Paddy Pimblett with a big screen.
Paddy would quickly make a name for himself locally, and by 2016, at the age of 21, Paddy became the undisputed Cage Warriors featherweight champion. The confidence of this man was all amounting, and his dreams of one day making the UFC was becoming more and more realistic. His presence growed profusely worldwide, and the UFC saw potential in this man and wanted to sign him at a young age and see what he could deliver in the biggest of stages. To some, this would seem like one of the biggest life achievements being handed straight to your palms, but Paddy did not see it this way. Paddy understood his game better than anybody else, and after becoming champ and getting offered a contract from the UFC, he knew this was a pivotal decision. However, the true mindset and determination unfolded out of this young kid. He had declined the offer. He believed he was too young and not ready for the big leap despite given the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He wanted to cement his game and develop gradual progression. So a year later, he moved up into the lightweight division and claimed numerous more impressive victories. The UFC lurking in the corner offered him a second UFC contract. Paddy, once again understanding the stakes at hand and knowing any other fighter would jump at this opportunity, showed his stoic, emotionless response and focused on the concept of delayed gratification. He once again knew he was not ready. He stated he wanted to grow more. I wanted to mature enough as a fighter and as a man. And Paddy not once, but twice had declined the fighting organization that he dreamt of as a kid, knowing he was simply not ready. So from 2018 to 2021, Paddy would continue developing under the Cage Warriors, dealt with a plethora of injuries, but eventually developed his fighting style and maturity, defeating notable fighters in the process. And by 2021, the UFC offered Paddy a final opportunity and a third contract, only this time, Paddy felt as though he was finally ready.
Paddy the Paddy Pimblett has the masses paying attention.
Pimblett is though, Mike. He's a fighter.
Oh,
look at that.
Right from Paddy the Paddy on the ropes. Has died.
He is a fighter, boy.
Since joining the UFC, Paddy has become undefeated, dethroning greats like Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, and his biggest of opponents, Michael Chandler. Paddy's decision proved to be all the reasons that contributed to his resounding success in the UFC. With this recent victory completely outclassing Chandler, there's no more denying Paddy as a top championship contender in the division. And from defeating amateur fighters in a local cornerstone in Liverpool to calling out all-time greats, having the belief that he can beat anybody in that octagon, Paddy has become a force that is quickly taking all fighters by storm. In the lightweight division, arguably the most skillful of all, fighters like Islam, Arman Tsarukyan, and Charles Oliveira are just a few of the legendary greats, and with the confidence that Paddy is rolling with and his last 2 fights ending in stoppages, Paddy is simply edging closer and closer to the lightweight title belt. Every fighter's dream is to one day make it to the big stage, showcasing years of dedication and hard work on that canvas in a 15-minute fight. However, Paddy believed in a different mindset. He understood that the UFC was no fairy tale dream, and to be amongst the best, you needed to build yourself and take no shortcuts. From a boy being saved from the crime-filled streets of Liverpool to not rushing his craft and journey with shortcuts, Paddy became the embodiment of what delayed gratification is all about. Then, and only then, when Paddy knew he was ready, he flourished, becoming one of the top contenders in the stacked lightweight division, inching ever so close to one day becoming UFC lightweight champ, fulfilling the young lad's goal of one day carrying glory. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. What is next for Paddy Pimblett? Will he fight Ilia Topuria like all the media outlets are suggesting? Or will he fight a fighter like Arman Tsarukyan or Justin Gaethje? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, I make MMA stories like these all the time, so if you want to stick around for the journey, please be sure to like and subscribe. I love all you guys. Peace.